Joining me right now is Kansas Senator and member of the Senate Budget, Homeland Security, and Agriculture Committees, Dr. Roger Marshall is back with us. Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
You bet, Maria. Great to be with you again.
So you just heard Scott Perry. Do you think the Republicans got everything they wanted?
Well, we didn't, but I think we still have to compliment Kevin McCarthy. Speaker McCarthy, he got the best deal he could get. Look, we all need to remember that Americans gave the Democrats two of the three levers to negotiate an appropriations bill. So this is probably the best deal he can get. But at the end of the day, I'm disappointed in President Biden. He continues to govern like he's the president of the woke Green Socialist Party, not like he's a moderate that he campaigned to be. Again, at the end of the day, we're going to be $1.3 trillion more in debt this year than last. Next year, we're going to be $1.7 trillion more in debt. I don't think we can stop and celebrate that. We've got a lot of work to do. This bill is going to get through, so all the markets can settle down. This bill is going to get through, but I'm not at all satisfied that we are where we need to be. We can't just keep kicking this can down the road for future generations.
Yeah, I think that's so well said. Kevin McCarthy pushed and pushed and pushed, finally got Joe Biden to agree to spending cuts at least next year, as well as these caps. But Scott Perry was on earlier, and he said there's no cap. It's actually just a target, and there's no real rule forcing anybody to keep to those caps. Is that true?
Well, I think so. And don't forget that a month from now, tomorrow, Joe Biden can say he wants $50 billion more for Ukraine. So they all have tricks. We've seen what this president can do when it comes to manipulating rules like EPA rules and Waters of the U.S. rules and surprise billing rules. So how does he want to govern? Does he want to continue like he's a woke Democrat Socialist Green Party, or does he want to govern like he's a moderate? So the White House can control part of how this bill is interpreted, but you know he's going to come back and ask for more money. He's going to come back and ask for more hurricane relief money someday soon as well. This is not the end of this spending for this Congress.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, that the bill passes the House tonight and that Kevin McCarthy has the 218 votes needed. When does the Senate take it up?
Well, I think we'll start taking it up immediately. But remember, we have basically three procedural type of votes to go through when it's all said and done. It could be Sunday or Monday really easily before we have the final vote on this.
And what are your thoughts on the permitting part of this? Because I know that the Republicans wanted more here as well. But do you feel that you could actually see permitting easing to lead to growth, economic growth?
You know, I can only hope so. But again, I'm so afraid that this White House is going to interpret this law different than you and I would, different than common sense folks back in Kansas will, that they'll again come back and manipulate it. There's always extensions, there's exceptions in this. They have a lot of wiggle room, so I'm very concerned what this White House is going to do with the regulatory part of this.
Well, exactly. And how about the IRS? You're still talking about Biden getting those 87,000 IRS agents to audit everybody, right? Are you expecting a heavy audit season to come?
Oh, it's coming. Remember, they've already got their $80 billion. $80 billion is already over there at IRS. They're not going to give it back. You know, whether they have $80 billion or $78 billion, I don't think matters a whole lot in the big scheme of things. So yes, make sure you've got a good accountant.
Senator, it really is disheartening to see all of the oversight that you all are trying to do, whether it's IRS, whether it's FBI, DOJ, and just having very little luck, frankly. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he's moving forward with the contempt of Congress charge against FBI Director Christopher Wray after the FBI is refusing to turn over this single document which was subpoenaed, which would connect then Vice President Biden to a $5 million bribery scheme. Wray is supposed to speak with the chairman later today. Senator, what are you going to do about all of this? We see the corruption in plain sight. We know what has gone on at the FBI with the politicking in the leadership. Will you be able to move the needle on any of this?
Well, certainly on the Senate side, we're not going to be able to. I'm going to go back to an earlier point. The American people, the people of Pennsylvania, the people of Georgia, of Arizona, of Nevada, they gave us a Democrat-controlled Senate. They control the agenda. They control the oversight. So I have to trust in Jamie Comer, a good friend, a smart person that's really drilling down on this. But at the end of the day, Americans know there is corruption at the highest levels of government, in the FBI, the DOJ, collaborating with the White House, with Joe Biden and Barack Obama. and Americans need to hold them accountable at the election booth. That's where this needs to change. America has an opportunity to change all this. I do think that Congressman Comer, Chairman Comer, can hold Wray in contempt of Congress. I know that the DOJ won't do a thing with that, so they'll have to go to the next step and have a vote on the House floor and hold him in contempt.
This is just extraordinary, all of it. Meanwhile, Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz is retiring at the end of June. Over the past 96 hours, agents encountered more than 13,500 migrants, over 4,000 known gotaways, 118 pounds of meth, 14 pounds of fentanyl, 6 sex offenders, and 5 gang members. The administration is now sanctioning more than a dozen entities in both China and Mexico linked to fentanyl production. Senator, is this too little, too late? I know you held that roundtable on fighting fentanyl in Kansas City yesterday. What can you do about it while the Biden administration continues this wide open border?
Well, you're right, Maria. You took the words out of my mouth. Too little, too late. They're simply putting a Band-Aid on a deep, deep wound. To your point that you just mentioned, 4,000 gotaways the past 96 hours. They seized 14 pounds of fentanyl already, but the gotaways would have had more than that. That's enough to kill over 3 million people. That's the entire population of the state of Kansas. There's so much more we could do. The folks at the Fentanyl Roundtable yesterday, this is our 3rd one. Look, every community, every county, every state is now a border state. We're all being impacted. 300 young Americans dying every day from fentanyl poisoning. This is the #1 killer of young Americans. One pill can kill, actually 1/2 of one pill can kill. And by the way, fentanyl is easier to get than ordering pizza. You can have fentanyl delivered to your school. The cartel has now drug sellers, pushers in those schools as well. Easier to get than pizza and much more accessible as well. That's the challenge before us. It's so easy to get. We're doing what we can to push back, but eventually it comes down. Will Joe Biden control the border? Will he push those people back into Mexico? Will President Biden hold China accountable? Remember, 90% of these precursors are made in China, and then they come over to the cartel in Mexico. The cartel has a presence in Kansas now. It's scary times.
Wow, that is incredible, Senator. Thanks for mentioning that. It's just an incredible situation underway at the border, which has not stopped. Senator, it's good to see you. Thank you. We'll keep a spotlight on it.